watching Seven Rivers Sports here on KQEG. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, into wellness, into fitness. So this is going to be a great show. So you're going to be excited because this week, a father-son combination. Fresh off a tremendous career at Prairie du Chien High School, Nathan Banasik and his dad, head coach Any Banasik. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks for having us.
We'll start with Nathan. I looked in a paper a couple weeks ago, and of course, everyone knows how tremendous an athlete you are, how gifted you are. And I noticed the academic side of you came out because you were given a scholarship from a friend of mine, actually, Jerry Raditz from Winona. So you are the consummate student athlete. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, my father pushes me to work hard in the classroom, too, because it's important, especially when you get into college here, too. I mean, every grade affects you and it follows you throughout your life.
He certainly gave you good advice because as I looked at your resume, National Honor Society, on the honor roll every single quarter. Does that come natural?
No, I got to work for it, especially with my injuries. I had to miss a lot of school, too, so I had to catch up and work hard at it.
Being in a small school, in a small town, the importance of Nathan about being involved in many co-curricular activities. You think that's important, and you were involved in many of them.
Yeah, it's very important to get involved. I mean, it's fun going out with your friends for games, and I always remember the bus rides back and things like that.
Is it a struggle, though, being a high-profile athlete like you, being in a small town?
No, I don't think it's a struggle. I mean, I enjoy it. It's fun. I mean, yeah.
So you can handle the limelight.
Yeah. Yep.
Andy, I looked at you. Well, of course, knowing you and being a friend for so many years, I don't know if a lot of our viewers know this, but Tribune Player of the Year in 1986, and went to state a couple of times. I mean, you had a tremendous career long before you even thought about college, playing and coaching and AD and all. I mean, you certainly were one of the better players that ever played at Prairie du Chien High School.
Number one, Terry, just been blessed. Had a lot of great teammates. In 85 and 86, be able to play in 2 football state championships and to play in 2 basketball state championships with that opportunity. So to allow that piece to do that was tremendous, and I had great teammates to do that. And we had a great run. It was just a great nucleus of kids that got together that probably at that time in the 80s where a lot of kids weren't lifting and working out, but as a collective group, we worked out. We did things together. When it was the football time, we played football. When it was basketball, we had the opportunity to play basketball, and then when it came spring, we focused on baseball. And then when it came summer, we were in a kid's basement. Brendan Garrity, the Garrity name is well known in Prairie du Chien, he had a weight workout piece in his basement. We went down there 4 days a week. We met in the mornings, and we worked out before we did those things. So we love to compete. We love to do things. And where I think a lot of times now kids, everything's organized. We did it without being unorganized. We did it ourselves. Playing baseball in the corner of the lot, sand lot, just back in the 80s way it was. And I think we learned how to compete with each other. We learned how to be great teammates. So I got lucky.
Speaking of that, I mean, those work habits are pretty unusual, I think. Speaking of that, I read a recent article that talked about too much pressure on kids in terms of out of season. In the fall, you should be playing football, but then there's a pressure to have fall baseball leagues. In the winter, you should be playing basketball, but then there's pressure to be involved, if you're a girl in particular, volleyball and other things. And in the spring, if you're playing baseball, running track, there's AAU conflicts in basketball. So there doesn't seem, in coaches, in the article, it's clearly said that coaches are to blame for some of this. What's your thought on that?
We are, Terry. I think we've bought into what I call microwave success. And as parenting, we want that success right now. And we believe that we're going to catch something that our kid's going to be that scholarship kid with it. And there's some great programs, Division III, that kids play in with it. And I think when a kid works out specific sport for that long, there's just so much room for injuries that could definitely take place. Plus, they don't get the whole scope of what high school is with it. And and you talk with kids at times, you know, they worry about what they're going to do in college. Enjoy your 4 years now, because that 4 years is such a short synopsis of your life. You're never going to get those back. And I think when you talk to kids when they come back, and they talk about what you hear, I wish I would have did this, because they find out college may not be the experience that they thought it was going to be. That we all glorify this piece when we see this in the sports and the news and that stuff. So the piece that we got to understand, I think we got to get better with, how do we have that balance? And there's times that we take some weeks off in basketball, and I know some of the great coaches in high school do that. They shut it down, giving their kids a break, and I think that helps. I think kids are tired with it, and we got to find that good balance.
And you understand that. But again, our guest today, Andy Banasik, and his son Nathan, here on Seven Rivers Sports. A lot of people know the name, the Banasik name, from your daughters and so on. We're going to talk about that. But a lot of, maybe our viewers don't know that you played for legendary Coach Bo Ryan out of high school, and you had a tremendous career there. Reflect a little bit on that.
Just at the time, I probably didn't make a decision till late. Didn't know really what I wanted to do on that piece, and Coach Ryan did a great job my senior year stopping. Wanted me part of a program that at that time Platteville was not very good. It was Coach Ryan's going to be his second year. He had a good recruiting first class, but Platteville is not known for basketball at all. And so he had to turn some things around. So it really is probably one of my defining moments. I got an opportunity to play for him for 4 years. Learned a tremendous piece about what basketball and family, and about building relationships, and about building a program and how to build a program. So what I got out of it, more about life than maybe more about the wins, but we had some great success for the 3 or 4 years I was there. And a great thing I had to learn is, I always chuckle with some of our players who think maybe we're stars, is my first year I got to play 3 seconds. That's because one kid forgot his uniform and everybody else fouled out, and we all chuckled about it. So, but it taught me about, I had to restructure how I had to get better, and I had to work at it, and there was not going to be instant success, and it really helped me in my future.
Well, and then when you graduated, you went to Marshfield Columbus, and now, of course, at Prairie du Chien, everyone knows that. You're back here playing in the Aquinas tournament. Record of 358 wins, destined for the Hall of Fame at some point, no question about that. I read an article that in 2003, though, you were thinking about leaving the high school ranks, and you applied for the UW Platteville job. It was you and Todd Eisner. Go back to that. Are you still thinking about maybe making that move?
Well, I think we all look at it, you worry about as a person to become stagnant. I've been there 20-some years, and my wife and I chuckle because we made the move from Marshfield to Prairie du Chien, and we talked about, hey, 4 years, come back to your hometown, it's going to be kind of tough, and let's just go about 4 years, get the thing turned around, we'll take a look at it. And I've been blessed with 20-some great years with that. And I think any time that we look at, as a person, as a competitor, is there a different challenge we want to look at on that piece with it? When I went into education, did I ever think I was becoming an athletic director, assistant principal, or principal? There was never a goal on that piece of it. That's what I was looking for. So I think as an avenue, if it's going to help me get better as a person, we take a look at that. If it doesn't, I'm excited about where our program's at. I'm excited about Prairie du Chien, what we brought to Prairie du Chien, and how I think we made a difference coming back to Prairie du Chien. So either way, it would be a great success for myself and what I've done.
Nathan, when you look at your career now, we're going to talk about your injuries in the second half of the show, but you've had a tremendous record. I mean, you've been 20-0 in your junior and senior year in the SWC, and as I look at it, 45-6 with you as one of the key players on a team blessed with talent, and then going to the state tournament last year, and you've had more success than probably you even envisioned. Reflect on that success and what it took you to get there.
It took a lot of hard work, especially my teammates. I mean, we all enjoy each other, and we enjoy playing basketball. That's the main part. You got to have fun playing basketball. If you don't enjoy it, I mean, you're probably not gonna get very far. I
read a couple articles on you, and the word that came up in both articles was humble, full of humility, not looking to shine the spotlight on yourself. Being a selfless player, despite having a tremendous skills. Is that something that comes natural, or is that part of what your parents expect out of you?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it comes natural, and how my parents have raised me, I mean, I try to be nice around people, and because I know, they could be my boss one day, come back. Yeah.
Well, in that quiet way, I know that you're a leader, and you may not be vocal with it, but your actions, your personality, your body language, you certainly are a leader, and you're involved in a couple activities, PALS and student council, and that's part of developing your personality.
Yeah, I like helping kids. I enjoy being with them. That's what I do with PALS. I take away my math period and go over there once a week, help little kids.
So PALS is reading?
No, you do activities with them, like play basketball and things like that.
To the elementary school?
Yep. It'd be second, third graders.
Because you're a role model there.
Yeah, yep. They all enjoy me, I guess.
Well, I'm sure they do. Yeah. I'm sure the whole community enjoys you. And we're going to talk about your plans, too, but it'd be certainly disappointing to see you leave. Maybe you'll come back and be the head coach and principal and AD sometime. But we're going to step aside just for a second. We'll be back with more right after this.
After 80 years in our beautiful area, it's easy to find a home that's kept comfortable by Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. To say thank you, we're celebrating our 80th anniversary in style.
When you install a new Carrier residential air conditioner now until June 27th from our La Crosse or Winona locations, get 50% of your purchase back if there's a new record high temp on July 4th. Call now for complete details.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Again, our guest today, Coach Any Banasik and his son Nathan. From Prairie du Chien. Well, basketball, a family affair. With Morgan, with Mackenzie, Macy, the youngest, Nathan, you, I mean, that's kind of your life.
You know, Terry, it really has. We never planned that. I think when you have kids, your number one thing is health. As you look at that piece, and I would say when they first started out, I didn't know if they would be basketball players. When you look at that, first of all, I got a great rock with my wife Melissa, who does a tremendous job of raising 4 kids. If it wasn't for her, I don't know if I could do all the job duties that needs to be as a principal and a basketball coach and being gone. And she does a tremendous job of balancing that piece and with their family. So, starting with Morgan, who had a great career with that at Prairie du Chien, got a chance to get to state for herself as a junior with her sister Mackenzie, and had a great career at Minnesota State Moorhead with that. And then Mackenzie followed through with it, and like you said, have a chance to play at state as a freshman, coming off the bench for them, and hit a big shot for them in a regional championship with about 30 seconds left to beat Richland Center for the first time in 30-some tries, they said, if I remember right in that piece. So it was great to see them grow, and they did it in different ways on that. And then Nathan, I would say coming out, probably his best sport was baseball. With it, so I thought for sure he was going to be a baseball kid. That's what he wanted to do. He had that passion for it, and he just made a change with that. And with that piece, as we talk about, he's had some adversity with some ECLs and MCLs, but what I liked about it, he's learned about persistence, learned about life. Can't take life for granted with it, and you take every moment you have in that. And then got an opportunity now with my last one with Macy, being a freshman next year, coming in on that piece, and she's got the affordability to see 3 different older brothers and sisters and what success they had in the basketball court, and she's finding a way to enjoy that piece.
A wonderful family indeed. Well, I read a couple articles about Nathan, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers know. Talk about a guy with multiple injuries, suffered in football, suffered in track and field, and a torn ACL twice, meniscus twice, 3 times, MCL. I mean, it was like, you got to be kidding me. And he soldiers through all those injuries. In fact, your physician said that you're the first athlete he's ever seen play a season with a torn ACL. I watched him play at Aquinas, and I've never seen an athlete with that much courage, guts, perseverance. It's just incredible. And so take us through the challenges that you faced emotionally and physically with your injuries.
The first time, I mean, it was pretty rough. I mean, I did get pretty depressed. I stopped doing stuff with my friends, and I just wanted to be out there and help my teammates, and I know I couldn't. And the feeling just really sucked. But so I got back to it, rehabbed really hard, and then finally started doing stuff with my friends again after I got in talks with my parents.
Were you worried about him then, Coach? I mean, because he obviously emotionally you're drained. There's some depression. How did you handle that?
Well, I think definitely. I think it's probably more mental than physical as you look at that piece. And I think any student that grows up, one as your father, as a principal, may add a little more added pressure to that piece. So I think he felt he let the family down by getting hurt in football. And we knew that, but he didn't understand that at 14, 15 years old, because he got bumped up to have to play on some varsity because they had some injuries. And so when he hurt his knee there in October, his goal was to be playing basketball as a sophomore. He's going to lose his whole sophomore. And here's a kid who lost all 3 summers. He never had a chance to improve or be with his teammates during that summertime, which a lot of kids do. So the mental and that depression piece was, and as Melissa and I worked through it on that piece with him, is how to get through that and what you have to do and who you have to trust with it. And I don't think he was trusting some of his friends that he needed to, and he needed to get back to that.
You know, I mean this, and I want our viewers to really hear this. I've never seen an athlete play through injuries with as much courage as Nathan Banasik. Unbelievable as I watched him perform as a senior. Let's kind of jump to Nathan's graduating in this month.
Yeah.
So emotional time. Some people struggle with that. New chapter in your life. Talk about what's on the horizon for Nathan Banasik.
I'm looking to go to UW Eau Claire. I'm not really sure about a major yet. I kind of undecided. I plan on playing basketball. I'll gray shirt my first year, so I can rehab some more, get stronger, get my legs stronger. Hopefully, come back fully healthy.
But you had another surgery just 2 months ago.
Yep.
And I know our viewers are interested. Your rehabilitation, and do you feel, with all your multiple injuries, do you feel comfortable and confident that you'll be able to overcome and play college basketball?
I feel confident myself. I mean, it's not all about how physical demanding you are. It's a little bit about your knowledge of the game and, mentally, where you can get a step to. It's not all about your physical attributes, I guess.
I know you have a lot of friends and you're well respected. What is, if I asked your teammates to describe you, what would they say?
They'd probably say hardworking, and I'm always in the gym, always the first one there, always the last one to leave, and I always get people to join with me to work out, shoot after practice and stuff. And I'm a nice guy, likable guy. And
is this guy next to you an inspiration?
Yes, he is. Yep. I see him, and I want to be like him. I want to coach basketball. I want to do things like he did.
How's he been an inspiration?
I see, I want to be a player like he was. I saw how good he was, and reading newspapers back then, and because we saved newspaper articles about him and stuff, and I read about those, and it's quite impressive. How
emotional is it for you, Coach, to hear him say that you were his inspiration, and you still are? And then he's leaving, not that he's leaving to go across the world, but he's going a couple hours away.
Well, I think it's tough when it's your only son, as you look at that, and maybe we didn't reach some goals that we had set up for ourselves when we sat down, Nate and I. But I also know because of the adversity he had, I think he really can have some success. I think sometimes kids don't have that adversity because we rescued them as parents at times, and all of a sudden we let them go, then it get in some troubles and things and taking place. But I think with the adversity he's had and what he's got to battle through, Matt Sartman Eau Claire has been great on that piece of allowing him the opportunity, because he's known Nate for many years on that piece and still wants him. And Nate knows it's going to be a 3-year process. He's got the gray shirt. He's got to get stronger the second year. And so he's been through that realm that I don't need to be a player to go there and expect I want to be the starter right now. It's going to be a 3-year process in that piece for him to hopefully be able to take the floor for the Blue Gold someday.
Not UW Platteville. We're following the footsteps of you,
which I think is good, Terry. From a standpoint, Nate's always had to know about his dad on that. So for him to build his own road, I think is great. I think both of my daughters did the same thing. One going to Minnesota State Moorhead away, another one going to Ripon. I think that's tremendous that they can build and kind of build their own road or trail on that.
Dick Bennett talks about coaching Tony. Bob Knight talks about coaching his son. Little dynamics involved. Real briefly, the questions that come up with and I coached 4 out of our 5 children. Here's some advice. Don't coach at home. Leave everything on the court. Prepare your child for peer pressure because it'll happen knowing that you're the coach's son or daughter. The question, can I treat my son or daughter the same way as other players? So many dynamics in father-son, father-daughter relationships. Struggle?
I would say I've learned from my oldest with Morgan. I can remember a couple of girls come up to me and say, "Hey, coach," and I said, "What?" And they said, "You never tell Morgan a good job on the piece." So, and I didn't recognize that piece with it. So I've learned a little bit from the oldest. I would not trade in for the world, Terry, as we look at that. What other person can say that every day you've got to go to work with your kids coming to school, and you get to see them in a what I call a co-curricular arena, and also seeing the academic. It's been great. When people talk about some horror stories, I've not had that. I think our relationship has grown closer as a son and father, and also with my daughter. So I would not trade that piece in the world.
Boy, that's an interesting perspective and really enlightening, to say the least. I remember last year, as we closed the show, probably one of your defining moments in your career was against East Troy, I believe, where you scored 19 of the 21 points in the second half, and you basically took the team on your shoulders to the Kohl Center in that huge win. Reflect on that.
Well, Chad Saginaw started out pretty hot and started out about 10-2. He hit a couple threes, and he really kept us in the game for the first half. But eventually East Troy came back and hit her up 10 at half. And just going into halftime, I knew I had to do something. I wasn't doing anything. My shot wasn't going. And I just knew I had to start attacking and get some shots for me and my teammates.
And you did take the team on your shoulder. Yep. Rapid fire drill, like in practice, rapid shooting drill. Philosophy of life, Nathan Banasik.
Always work hard and never take things for granted, because all it takes is one injury or one accident and it's taken away from you.
Favorite saying?
Never take life for granted.
Yeah. Yep. Live every day to the most. Yep. A favorite class at Prairie du Chien High School?
Math class is my best subject, probably.
That's best subject,
yeah.
Huh? And being the AD, being the principal, multiple hats, challenging?
Challenging but rewarding. Kids get to see in a different format from being a principal, being a coach. I've been blessed. My community has been tremendous. Some people say you can never go back to your community, and I've had the luxury of going back 20-some years now, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, and I'm sure they feel the same way about you and your daughters, your wife, and our guest today, Nathan Banasik. So it's been a great interview. We appreciate you driving up from Prairie du Chien to be on our show today.
Terry, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Okay, our guest today, Andy Banasik, Nathan Banasik. We'll be right back with some closing thoughts and some baseball film clips right after this.
After 80 years in our beautiful area, it's easy to find a home that's kept comfortable by Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. To say thank you, we're celebrating our 80th anniversary in style.
When you install a new Carrier residential air conditioner now until June 27th from our La Crosse or Winona locations, get 50% of your purchase back if there's a new record high temp on July 4th. Call now for complete details.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. I hope you enjoyed our interview. We introduced you to Nathan and Andy Banasik from Prairie du Chien, father and son. Great career for Nathan at Prairie du Chien. 2 games on Tuesday as we are in the first round of the WIAA high school postseason. First to West Salem. The Cooley Conference champ hosting a dangerous Arcadia team. West Salem expected to have their hands full, and they did. Down 1-0 in the bottom of the 7th, and fearing their season would end, the Panthers put their first 2 players on base before failing to get a sacrifice down to advance both runners. With 2 outs, senior Braxton Gelfie singled to score Jake Whitbeck and tie the game. Then, in dramatic fashion, Nick Schultz singled to score Austin Kennedy with the winning run. Alex Gorski and Alex Juranic combined for a 2-hitter.
Colin Weltzine picked up the loss for Arcadia. Arcadia ends its season while West Salem improves to 19-4, hosting Black River Falls on Wednesday evening in a regional final. Final score, West Salem 2 and Arcadia 1. Well, the Aquinas Blue Goals opened their WIA postseason schedule hosting Melrose Mindoro from the Dairyland Conference. Aquinas struck early, building a 4-0 lead after one. 2 runs in the second and 2 more in the third were enough for the Blue Goals to coast the rest of the way. The dagger was a 3-run 5th inning to put an early end to the Mustangs season. Aquinas had a total of 10 hits to give Coach Scott Bagneski his 300th win as a Blue Gold head coach. C.J. Nolte and Jake Salvadelli each belted home runs, while Brandon Murfelt was 2 for 3 with 2 doubles and 3 RBIs. Teammate freshman Jess Ondell went 2 for 3 with a double and 3 RBIs. Kyle Stair went 2 for 2 for Melrose Mindoro. Losing pitcher was Dawson Rommel. The 16-10 Blue Goals host the number 3 seed Neilsville at 5 p.m. Wednesday for the regional crown. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's show. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping you will have an enjoyable and a healthy week ahead. So long. See you next week here on 7 Rivers Sports.